Yo, welcome to the South Pod, the place where we cover the stories, the stat lines of the NFC South. My name's Corey. I got with me my boy Frodo, my boy Rich, and we're missing a couple of people, but we probably have some guest appearances later on. But before we do this show, shout out to our boy Kratos, man. Get better. With that
Absolutely.
being said,
Big facts, big
man,
facts.
the draft happened. The draft happened a couple of weeks ago. And from our chats, man, all of us feeling good about what we saw, especially when it comes to the NFC South. So let's get right into it, man. With the grades. How y'all feeling about your team, Rich? If you could grade your team, what would it be?
I would give us A plus plus plus. Um, I know officially, according to the analysts, they gave us an A minus, man. But I think we actually knocked it out of the park, man, and we made some good moves during the drafts. And like we were talking, during our pre-draft, one of the players that I drafted first was McMillan, and I actually see that actually coming to fruition to actually give Bryce Young some weapons going into this new season, man. I think that was a plus. Plus addition to picking up some edge rushers, which is going to be critical now with some of the moves that we just made, man. So I think we knocked it out of the ballpark, man. But overall, I'll give us an A plus.
Yeah, A is pretty steep, but I get it. You excited? You feeling good? I mean, I was really impressed with the receiver pickup. We was all talking about trying to get him, but y'all got a lot of holes to fill, man. You feel like this draft made y'all better?
I do, man. I do think this draft made us better, man. Like you said, we did have a lot of holes to actually fill. And I think we addressed some of those holes with the exception of probably, getting offensive alignment. But, man, when you look at the draft in totality with those edge rushers that we got with, Nick Scourin and Prince Umanila, then going back and getting those, the safety, Lance Raynham from Ohio State, and then picking up some receivers later on in the draft to include Jimmy Horn Jr., man. I thought we did a great job. So I'm looking forward to this season, man. I think one of the key things, too, and it's left to be unseen, we talked a little bit about it um, off air, but with the Panthers releasing, Javion Clowney, that's some open cap space, $13.7 million to be exact. So I want to see what we're actually going to do with that to kind of see if we can plug some of those holes to actually improve the team furthermore.
Hey, A plus is definitely the way to go if you giving grades. I know you, like I said, you've been on cloud nine ever since the draft because y'all ended on a high note from this draft and rolling over from the season when y'all beat up on Atlanta for that
Yeah.
last game. Speaking of Atlanta, Telly, how you feel about the draft?
Hey man, hey, when you gonna start that, bro? You gotta, give me about 10 more minutes when y'all start,
What I
throwing
do?
off the top rope on. Don't be hyping Rich up either with that soft behind win they got at the end of the season. He rode off into the sunset. I think they had a ticker tape parade somewhere down there in Carolina, man. I was
Yeah,
like, what y'all
yeah.
boys doing? Y'all celebrate too hard, man. Too hard, too hard. So yeah, no, I think like I said, I gave you Rich, I gave you your props offline about the draft. I thought y'all did pretty well. I mean, I think we all did pretty well. Um, I'll give my team a A. I ain't do the plus plus thing. But I'm gonna give us an A because for years everybody been asking for um, D line help, and they did bowl last year with Penix. No one saw that coming, especially after getting Kirk, and then it panned out. And then this year they did, they bet on themselves and they went out and got what I think is two studs. Y'all heard me talk about Pierce. He was high on my list, man. So
Indeed.
I, and then we got, my bulldog on the team, which is rare. We don't do that. So yeah, I give us an A, man, for addressing the sore need, and then we got lucky and pick up Xavier Watts, which was another gift to us. So yeah, I'm happy with what we got, man. Just Corey talked about offline, but it's good to draft, but then how do they fit? So we're gonna wait to see what happened with that. But so far, I said A.
Yeah, Atlanta was pretty aggressive with getting them two ends back. I was like, okay, they really saw that they need pressure on the D line, just like everybody else in the division and in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how Atlanta moves forward. You know, we're still having Kirk on the bench collecting all that money. So we
That's to
should.
be seen, though. That's to be seen. There's some rumblings out on the streets about that.
Where can he go though? I mean, because at this point, everybody locked in except the Steelers.
And
You
that's
know, and they act,
you just answer your own question.
the Steelers are acting like they good. You know, they waiting on the savior. You know, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. You know, man. Yeah, I agree with Telly on the grading system or whatever. As far as the Bucks go, I'm gonna give them a B. I'm gonna give them a B. Everybody, you know, excited about the draft picks, and I'm definitely excited about it too. However, like I tell the guys when we be talking, man, y'all know I really don't believe in the draft. The draft ain't gonna get you to the Super Bowl. I mean, it helps you build, but I believe in free agency impact players that are already proven. But hey, we've been getting some good guys. You know, the last couple of years, we signed McMillan and Braswell from last year's draft. McMillan actually stepped up and became that wide receiver 3. Braswell, we'll see if he turns the corner this year. But we surprised everybody by going and picking up Egbuka from Ohio State. When I saw it, man, I scratched my head. I was like, because we all know our need is on defense at corner, you know, the secondary and our linebackers because Devontae Davis is getting old. But we went Egbuka first, so Light switched it up on us. He said he was getting the best available in their opinion. Then we came back with, you know, the corners and we tied it up with the defensive ends. And we got Tez Johnson from Oregon. We got another Burnett receiver, special teams guy. I think he's going to be, you know, him a highlight reel or whatever. So we actually filled the needs that I was looking for, with the exception of linebacker. It'll be interesting to see if Shallow and big boy from Florida, Watson, make the team. They were invited to training camp. I think Watson will make it, but Shallow gonna have some competition in that secondary. So my overall grade for us is a B. I think we got better. We reloaded, but I got to see it on the field. I'm not going to give us an A off the rip, but it's looking really good. It's looking real good. So
I think Shallow gonna make y'all team, man. He might not start, but I think he'll make y'all roster, even if he's on a special teams. I think he'll make y'all roster.
yeah, he might be a good depth piece. He might be a good depth piece, but when you look at our lineup, we got some performance. We was injured last year. Everybody know that. We was injured. So them boys coming back healthy this year with the exception of Dean. You know, he's still a question mark at corner, but we moved Tyke Smith to safety. So that's going to be him and Winfield back there. We still got Merriweather and I forgot the other kid name. Izzy in play slot on the defense. And then we got McCullum in our contract year. We got Dean and we got a couple other pieces that were injured. So him making it, we'll see. I see practice squad, but I don't see him dressing. I don't see it.
I think he'll make the team if y'all need an equipment manager. That's about it. Yeah. That's about it.
Man, no,
Yeah.
but this is the real reason. You know, I don't think he's gonna make the team because of his talent, but that's attention that could be good for seats, putting butts in seats. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely agree. No lies told. But like I said, he'll probably be on the practice squad. He'll be sitting on the sideline with the t-shirt and the gloves on, you know, rocking the gold chains. And, you know, as long as he's on the sideline, you know, that's media. So yeah, they better be smart with it. They'll be smart. But I don't see him as a starter. I don't see him getting on the field except for preseason. Speaking of starters, who y'all predicting to start on your teams? Carolina.
Well, obviously, you know, barring any, you know, setbacks, McMillan is definitely starting on the opposite side. You know, Leggett. I think Scouting will be, you know, starting now with the release of Jadeveon Clowney. You know, we brought in Pat Jones, who was actually essentially was supposed to replace Jadeveon Clowney anyway. But I think that rookie Scouting would actually be able to start. So those two rookies that we drafted, man, Scouting and McMillan. They're both starting for the team, man, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I see McMillan definitely because that's a well, like I said, y'all got holes everywhere. So I think they all gonna start, Rich.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right, man, but I don't think they all going to start because you still got people that left on the roster. I think Lathan Ransom will probably sit back and probably get some playing time. Prince Humanelli, he may get some opportunities to actually play. But I do think Nick is actually definitely starting, and I do think McMillan's starting because you have to actually give Bryce the opportunity to be successful by surrounding him with those offensive weapons. And like I said, man, I think personally McMillan is a Mike Evans in the making. As long as he can actually work hard like Mike Evans and put in the work, mark my words, that's Mike Evans in the making.
Pretty big shoes to fill. We shall see. Atlanta. Predict the starters.
Hold
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished when I bought that.
I just ran it.
Go ahead, Telly. He's back.
All right, yeah, a whole lot. That's a whole lot better. Had some technical difficulties starting out, but yeah, man. I think my first three picks has a very high chance of starting. Xavier definitely can start because we didn't bring Simmons back, so I think he can fill that spot. And then those two young edges, I think they can start. Definitely Walker's going to start. Pierce, he should start over what the veteran we picked up. I can't remember his name, but I think he could start over him. Just
Fowler.
Yeah,
Fowler.
Yeah, Fowler. He can start over Fowler, and Fowler can come in on some packages and stuff like that. So be probably splitting time between those two as the season go on. If Pierce shows his worth, man, and it'll be his to lose. So my first three picks definitely are starters. Those other guys will be coming up, getting rotations, getting some packages here and there, but we don't spend that kind of draft capital for somebody to sit the bench.
Y'all spend a lot of money for people to sit the bench. Kirk Cousins.
No,
but anyway,
he's a great backup.
Hey, I'm just saying. You say y'all don't spend a lot of money.
I said draft capital. I ain't saying about money. See.
But you do.
Yeah, the draft capital. Yeah,
I think Kirk Cousins is a producer for that daggone TV show Money Heist. That fool been stealing money for people since he been in the league.
Goddamn Ocean 15, well. But yeah, I think for Tampa, man, like I said, I don't believe draft picks, make that much of an impact unless they like 1 through 5. But the only one I see starting really realistically, if Morrison's hip with his injuries or whatever, and he comes to camp healthy, he's going to beat out Dean. I think Dean is going to be a reduced to a depth piece if he's not trade capital. But Morrison stars. Egbuka going to be in competition with McMillan because McMillan led rookies in receiving last year, touchdown-wise, whatever. So he hit a stride later on in the season. So that's going to be a battle at the 3 spot. So I'm really thinking just Morrison. The rest of them are good quality depth pieces. That's what I see. What y'all think?
Yeah, I can see that. I think y'all. I mean, you hit it right. Y'all drafted for depth. I mean, in some aspects we did too because we lost some people because we cashed money strap. So everything had to come through the draft for us. We moved some money around, but still not enough to do any damage unless they're holding out for one particular individual, which I don't see where they fit at now. If they holding out for who I think they're holding out for. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, not to belabor the point, but I agree with you too. I would say this, man. I know you made the point about, you don't necessarily believe in the draft picks until they be able to get out on that field and show it. And I agree with that to a certain extent though. But when you actually kind of just look at the league and the history of some of these players that's been drafted in the later rounds that's instantly got there and produced, I think that has something to say about like, okay, what caliber players and individual athleticism and talent that be stepping on that field. So I do think that the preseason, OTAs and everything, it will give you an indication of what players going to get out there to actually perform and who's actually not going to be shit. But I think, man, you guys did a good job in the draft, and I think those players I would actually give you guys an A. I thought y'all did a very good job, but I think that you're being modest and humble by giving you guys self a B. But I think those guys can get out there and perform, and I'm excited, man. About the NFC South this year for sure, with the exception of the Saints.
Man, Corey's in rare form already. He's in form.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He ain't got the training yet. This man already. He started doing the draft, dog. I mean, come on, man. He already started.
Listen.
And earlier, how many articles you done sent out in the chat?
I done sent out a plethora. Look, man, what we say in the text ain't got nothing to do with what we present to the screen.
Oh, that's off the record.
Yeah, but nah, man, I ain't being modest, Rich. I'm for real, man. Cause like you said, we all, in my opinion, we got better in the draft, and I don't really pay attention to the draft like that. But I'm like, man, everybody me in Atlanta, we reloaded, and you added some good pieces, man. I'm like, okay, if they take that momentum like they did, at the end of the season, the NFC South is going to be competitive with the exception of one team. Yeah. And we all love the fact that they're not here, literally and figuratively. One team. So, I don't even think the NFC North is going to be as dominant as they projected or whatever.
Yeah.
But the draft, like you said, they go late or whatever. Remember, we drafted Braswell from Alabama last year at DN early. Mm-hmm. So Braswell couldn't even beat out Tryon for the left end. He couldn't beat him out. And Tryon was ass. He was the bottom of ass. So hopefully Braswell turned the corner this second year. That's what we're banking on. Then that's another depth piece at the ends, with Reddick and Yaya doing, man. See, now you're going to get me talking about this D-line because it's about to do damage.
And that was a segue. That was a segue, man. I was about to ask you, into when we talk about the draft, do you think it's more difficult for defensive players to actually find their way in the NFL vice offensive players when we talking about their level of success?
Nah, not really. Defense, when I coach and played or whatever, if the defense has to think, then you're in an advantage. So I think Braswell came in and it was too fast for him. He had to think. You can't think on defense. You just got to read and react. And if he catch you thinking, the player's already passed you by. So, we'll see, man. We shall see. So I just know it's going to be a lot of one-on-ones for this D-line. Ain't no double teaming nobody. And that's what we want. Yeah. So, Telly, go ahead, man. I knew you had something to say.
No. I mean, I think across the NFC South, we all needed to improve on defense. And even though the Saints had a terrible draft, I think they did do okay to get on their defensive line. They got a bunch of old heads on their defensive line, so they've been trying to fix some of that. So I'll give them a little bit of credit. They're trying to start in the right direction, but the rest of the team and the rest of their draft was trash. For us, man. Last year's draft, when you were talking about that, I'm interested to see how Braylon Trice handles things because we drafted him last year in the third round and he got hurt, so he wasn't able to do anything. I watched him in Washington. I thought he was pretty decent, had some upside to him. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do this year. And the kid from Clemson, I can't say his name. I'm gonna call him O. I think he's a good upside. That's why we wasn't gonna pay Grady Jarrett that kind of money that he wanted from us. Chicago paid him, but Chicago do all kind of crazy things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You said I'm sorry, you said Chicago, man, and it struck a nerve because they, them heads instantly. Chicago is now a playoff team. Bruh, come on. Speaking of playoffs, hey, let's go into way too early predictions. Season ain't even started yet. Rich, what's your prediction for your team, man? Record wise, what we talking?
Whew. Oh man. I'm gonna be optimistic, man. I'm gonna say 9-8.
9-8.
Yep. And that wins the division.
Oh,
with a tiebreaker over one of you two.
ooh,
So write that shit down.
ooh.
Tell it that boy said 8, 9, 9 and 8. Wait.
What the hell?
Hey,
Listen.
Rich, that's a double banger, Rich, man. First of all, you trying to shoot for the under, and then
That's
you
called being smart.
and then you gonna come in here talking about the whole division gonna be trash again, talking about 9-8.
Right.
No. So I didn't say it's going to be trash. I said it's going to be competitive.
No.
That's what happened last
9-8. If this division go 9-8 with a champion again with this year, every coach getting fired.
Facts.
Every coach in the NFC getting fired. In the NFC South is getting fired. That's not happening, bro. That's not happening. But like, I get what you're doing.
You be safe.
I get what you're doing. I get what you're doing, and I like it because this is Bowles' year. He on the hot seat. He has no excuses. Period. Everybody know that if we would have lost last year and telling them ran off with the division, Bowles was going to be gone and Cohen was going to be the head coach. But since Cohen did what he did, now it's like, all right, Bowles, because they weren't going to sign him. They still haven't extended him. He on his last year. So 9-8, okay, cool. Come on over here, Mike Tomlin. Come on back home. If that's what you're saying, but there's no way. No way. Man, telling them what, okay. If telling them when to swept us.
He got Corey turned up.
Yeah. Listen, bro.
Hey,
telling them one really not an 8-9 team. Atlanta was not an 8-9 team. We were not a 10-7 team. Bro, I'm telling you, just like Telly predicted early last year, he said they would go 12-5. I said 10-7. I honestly think that's the way it would have been had we not had no injuries. All this talk about the South, man, is gonna stop. And you in the South, bro.
Yeah.
Get out your phone, man.
He trying to place that bet. Yo, DraftKings.
Absolutely.
Hey, he said 9-8, Telly. What you say?
Like I said, he's trying to be modest, man. I think we can get 11 wins this year, only because I look at our, proposed opponents. I think our loss is going to come from within the division because I think everybody got a little bit better except for the Saints, right? And then we'll have, we got to play Buffalo this year, so that's a tough out. Washington, if they be half as good as they were last year, that's gonna be a tough out. I mean, we played them tough last year, but
sophomore slump.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that. I'm really hoping for that.
Sophomore slump loading.
Yeah, but everybody else, I think Arizona's gonna be a sneaky team, and I think the Seahawks is gonna tank. So yeah, I mean, we don't have a tough schedule. I mean, we didn't have according to them, we didn't have a tough schedule last year, but I thought we had, several gauntlets, and then when we should have won, we Kirk Cousins that thing.
Yes, you did.
So 11-6, Tally, essentially, roughly 11-6.
Yeah, I think 11-7 or 11-6, whatever it is. Yeah,
like that.
I think we get 11 wins. Yeah.
Okay.
11-6. Well, I agree with Telly as well that our losses are gonna come within the division. But guess what? 12-5, baby. I'm telling you now. 12-5. That's what's happening.
That's
our record. Nah. Yeah, during the season, those gonna be our workout. And the end result, you know what the end result is. 12-5. And we beating Philly. We beat
Hey,
Philly. What's up? Fourth
The
and
best-
Philly. I see you.
the best prediction I can tell you is this, man. Is the Panthers gonna switch places with the Saints? That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Because we're gonna split with y'all
Hell
this year.
nah.
We really owe y'all, Telly. We
Yeah,
y'all
y'all
didn't,
I know
we
y'all.
really owe y'all. So
come-
both of them games gonna be is real personal. So I said we split.
It's gonna be different this year because we played y'all both times last year with Kirk. So this time y'all get to play against Mike. So yeah. I'm with you.
It's gonna be different. So I think the Saints, not even worth talking about.
Yeah,
not even worth talking about.
they're gonna be 6-10 next year.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I say 12-5, man. If we stay healthy, because we got something for Philly, little tush push. That tush push ain't happening no more. Even though we the only team
I got
that
the
stop
big
them.
boys.
Yeah, even though we the only team that stopped Philly with the tush push, that ain't happening no more. So I like the odds. I definitely like the odds. But those predictions are way too early.
Way too early.
Way too early. Just like everybody making the Cowboys contenders now. And speaking of the Cowboys, does the Pickens trade make them a contender?
I'm taking the over on that one. Over as rated.
For me personally, man, I don't think that actually make them per se a contender. I think you have more offensive weapons for Dak Prescott to throw to if he's throwing to his own teammates this year. But it was a good move by Dallas. It was kind of mind-boggling, kind of head scratcher to why Pittsburgh would do that. I don't know what's going on, inside that locker room, but that was kind of a head scratcher to me, kind of confusing. Why would you actually get rid of him when you just bought DK Metcalf in? I mean, I know you don't really have a quarterback, but still, I think that's a hell of a 1-2 tandem. And when you throw Calvin Austin the third in there as well, that's a pretty good wide receiver core. So why would you break that up and send that wide receiver, that caliber wide receiver, to the Cowboys? That makes no goddamn sense to me. So I don't know if that necessarily make him contender. I think it does make him better. However, Dak Prescott still got to get the ball to his teammates.
Yeah, I don't think they do much. I mean, it's just good. It's good media talk, man. It keeps the pundits, the Monday morning quarterbacks, it gives them something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Because they lost to Dallas Love. What, about 34th week in the season? They really didn't have much to talk about with them boys. So this time, give them something to talk about. But I looked at their quarterback, depth chart. Right, they got Joe Milton and Will Grier as quarterback backup.
Absolutely.
And we've seen for the past 2 years, Dak been nicked up, banged up, and as far as I'm concerned, they didn't address a dire need, and that's their offensive line.
They did in the first round. They
ain't enough though.
I get what you're saying, but yeah, they addressed it though.
Yeah, they drafted somebody, but I think I still don't think it's enough. So I think they still got some problems with the offensive line. Dak ain't Dak no more. So yeah.
When was Dak ever Dak?
I like Dak coming out of Mississippi State. I thought he was a steal in draft in fourth round.
I agree. I agree with you, man.
So,
yeah, I was team Dak too.
Yeah, you look at his first 4 years in the league, man, 3-4 years in the league. He did what he was supposed to do. He was not going to be a Troy Aikman or Brett Favre, none of that trash like that. He wasn't going to lose you a game. And I thought that they had a good defense, they had a good running game, and that's where he made his money at. So he's been who I thought he was. But,
nah, I always said Dak lead the Cowboys. The next team he go to, he win the Super Bowl. That's how good I think he is. So
that's a stretch.
Nah, I'm dead ass. If they trade him, the team he go to, he going to the Super Bowl. That's just how I felt, about Dak as a quarterback. But Go ahead. Rich.
Currently with Dak, if he was traded.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you telling me if that boy happens to go to the Las Vegas, they are winning the Lombardi Trophy.
Man, be real. You know what I mean when I said if
Give him
he
a
get
chance.
traded,
Give him a chance,
he going to a contender. He not going to no rebuilding team.
So
Dak
what
is
what
not doing that.
so what
That's why he
what
got the no trade clause. That's what I'm saying. It'll have to be a team he would want to go to.
so what perennial contender that you think that he could take them over the top to win a Super Bowl?
Say if Minnesota has another issue, right? And somehow they can work a deal to get Dak in Minnesota.
Hands down.
And I thought that was going to be the first pick everybody going to say, but they still got to address stuff on the defensive end. They got a hell of an offensive actually side of the ball, but I don't think that Dak going to Minnesota takes them over the top. Absolutely not.
Minnesota ain't terrible on defense. They ain't the greatest, but they ain't terrible.
Nah, not at all. And, you know, them boys score so many points. That is their defense.
Yeah,
Right.
but we all understand the core because that was the team that I was going to say too. It's like the only team that we can be realistically talking about is Minnesota with what those boys got up there. But I still don't think Dak will take them over the top if that was to happen.
Oddly enough, if he were to go to Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh played, I think they played better, in my opinion, with Fields and control than they
Absolutely.
did with whatchamacallit, right? So if you look at Dak, he's like the mature version of Fields. When he first came in, Dak was running. That butt thighs big as I don't know what, run all over everybody and pass the ball sometimes. Then he's become a little bit better passer than he is. He relied more on his passing than he do on his running. He ain't terrible. And you know, Arthur Smith is a run first OC. So that takes a lot of pressure. That would take a lot of pressure off that to have to.
It would. But to me, Telly,
yeah, they need a wide receiver too. So need one more wide receiver.
You comparing Dak and Justin Fields. Justin Fields to me is the football version of Ben Simmons. That's who Justin Fields is. He's scared to throw. So he gonna
oh man, that's funny.
He ain't
that bad. He ain't that bad.
Okay.
Like real talk, Corey. Who has he had as an offensive coordinator since being in the league? Trash.
Does the coordinator make the quarterback, or does the quarterback make the coordinator?
Man, would Mahomes be Mahomes without Andy Reid? Absolutely.
I say yes.
I don't. Would Brady have been who he is without New England and Bill? Real talk. Let's be honest, man.
I think he proved that when he came to Tampa.
Yeah, I was just saying.
But by then, you know, one of the biggest things with NFL player, pro athletes all together, right? They can be super talented, but if they don't have no confidence, bro. Almost to your point about Fields, he don't have the confidence to let the ball go sometimes.
So, go ahead, Rich.
By the time Tom came to Tampa, man, you can't tell Tom nothing. He can do anything and all things, and he understood the system. But when he was drafted, bro, he wasn't drafted 7th round for no reason.
Shout out to Tom Brady for getting us that ring, baby. Go.
So you were saying that the offensive coordinator made Drew Bledsoe as well before he got hurt. Is that what we're saying?
Drew Bledsoe was decent, but he was in the system. He was in the same system Tom Brady was in. Facts. Same system, bro.
That's true, man.
We talk about this all the time, right? We talk about how players in the right system, they excel. Like they were phenomenal. They get to
I agree with you, you know, in that aspect. But I think too, man, there's a certain level of talent when we're talking about, you know, guys like a Drew Bledsoe and some of these other guys. Their talent stand out. I mean, there was a reason why, you know, Brady got drafted in the 6th round, and for him being in that system made him successful. And now he's considered, you know, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And we had this conversation. I wish Will was on here because I think you could plug and play anybody in fucking San Francisco and they have that same level of success.
Exactly.
So don't tell me Brock Purdy is the man and give him that, let's give him the bag when I'm 100% certain I will bet everything I had in my accounts. You put Bryce Young in that team, they win a Super Bowl. One, he's more talented.
Absolutely. He's way more talented.
His decision making abilities is better.
Yeah.
And with those weapons, there's
so-
no fucking way.
So,
So
y'all
that would
still-
be the NFL version of Alabama if Rice went there. That's what that would be.
Absolutely.
I hear you. But back to Pickens, man, making a difference in Dallas.
Yeah.
I look at it on the Pittsburgh side. First of all, like Rich said, you don't get rid of that caliber receiver. But I think about it, Rich. You bringing in DK Metcalf. What does DK Metcalf run? Go routes. You got Pickens. What does Pickens run? Go routes, jump balls. So you got two receivers that do that's easy to cover. That's easy to cover. And I knew when DK got his contract first. What's up, little Wardy? When
Don't say
DK
it.
got his contract first,
Wait
look
till-
at her. Hey, she don't even like the Panthers. That's why she like that. Don't put me on here.
See, so I saw that
Don't
Falcon.
put me on here. But yeah, DK and Pickens the same. So Pickens goes to Dallas. CD is the route runner extraordinaire. CD in my top three receivers. CD can do it all. So CD gonna route you up, and now Dak got a deep threat. They got a three-headed monster at running back. But like Telly said, the line is questionable. Whatever. So we'll see. I mean, if to say that they're a contender out of the previous years, our playoff teams, whose spot they taking? Who spot they taking?
Who?
Can you tell me that the Cowboys? Can you tell me they better than the 7 teams that made the playoffs last year? I don't think so. I don't.
I agree with you. I don't think so.
But so let's play devil's advocate, right? So Minnesota, I think, is the biggest question mark. The teams that made the playoffs last year because they got drugged. We saw.
Yeah.
And I'm not a believer in JJ McCarthy. I seen him play in person. Nope. So, and they putting all their faith into him. Now they made what's that kid? Then they went to Seattle, got the big money. Yeah,
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold was trash everywhere he played until he got there. So there might be a little something they can squeeze out of that man, but I don't think he's the guy for that team.
Man, Darnold went from seeing ghosts to seeing dollar signs.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
He went from seeing ghosts to buying ghosts.
I know.
Not to focus on Minnesota too much, man, but they spend more money than anybody in this off season. So people are expecting them to actually win, and everybody, they are, the Minnesota faithful. They're putting their eggs in the basket with JJ McCarthy. So that's one reason why I thought, Aaron Rodgers was going to be, a Viking. But I'm not, like you said, Telly, I'm not putting all my money, on JJ McCarthy. And I think, whether people agree or not, I think that's the Achilles heel at the quarterback position, and that's what's going to be the difference with them this year.
And so to me, that could be the team that Dallas could replace. That's the whole point I'll bring up.
It baffles me how JJ McCarthy played in one preseason game against the Raiders using a generic defense. Had some decent throws against backups, and they said he is all-world quarterback. After one preseason game, he ain't played, a real game, a real meaningful game. But this dude's supposed to be it. I don't see it, man. They in the dark, whatever. But speaking of being in the dark, Rodgers, he saw the light, man. He came out. He came out. They said they saw him at the Kentucky Derby or whatever. What does he do, man? Is he staying away or is he going to sign with the Steelers? Or before you answer, we just finished talking about the Vikings. Is he holding out till they realize that McCarthy ain't it?
You know what, man? I think that's a part of it, and because of his ego, I definitely think that is a part of it. He wants to see what's actually going to happen. And I think the only reason why he wants to do that is to go back and try to prove something, to the NFC North rival, the Green Bay Packers, he formerly played for. But in my opinion, I think when it's all said and done, he still was signed with Pittsburgh. When you look at that daggone depth chart in Pittsburgh for quarterback, like, come on, man. We joked last season when we were doing the episode about my daughter getting out there, running a 5.2 40. Hell, she can throw farther than them guys too. So you gotta do something, man, at the quarterback position, especially if you're Mike Tomlin, or your ass is out of there, bro. So I do think he's trying to hold out, for hope to see what the Vikings are going to do. But ultimately, man, I think he's going to sign with Pittsburgh.
I don't know, man. At this point, what about Pittsburgh is appealing? You got DK. I get it. You let Najee Harris go. You just sent Pickens packing to the Cowboys. Like, so unless you Gabe Davis did get cut from the Jaguars, so maybe they finna pick up another receiver depth piece, whatever. But you ain't getting no. Right. Gabe fell off since he left the Bills. He fell off. So what is he getting going to the Steelers? I wouldn't waste my time coming back unless I know I'm going to a team that's really finna, take me far in the playoffs.
What does he get? He gets an opportunity to start. Nobody's starting Mason Rudolph and the rest of the damn reindeers that should be on Santa's, North Pole draft list. Nobody's starting that, man. And plus, once again, man, his ego, man, is bigger than most. And so the opportunity to get out there and to be able to give it one last hurrah and lead a team and, make something happen, whether, you get to the playoffs or even further, along in the NFL season, I think that's why he would do it. And I know we were talking about this offline. If Aaron Rodgers go to Pittsburgh, watch where his little boo go, Allen Lazard. He was signed with them as well. That's his security. That's his security blanket. That's Usher. That's Usher and Alicia Keys right there. My boo. They'll be there. Watch.
But Lazard production fell off when they went to New York. He rarely threw to him. The boy was dropping everything. He was dropping everything in New York. So
that was true for an extent, but when you actually look at it, he was actually up there, man, in the beginning, leading them with extra receptions and touchdown. Garrett Wilson was taking the back seat to him until Aaron Rodgers realized, like, I need to go to this young boy. So he's definitely going to go to him because he trusts him and he relies on him, and they have that chemistry. Whether he drops a couple passes, he's still going to go to him.
I don't know, man. I just see the Steelers basically looking the same as they did last year, even if they get, Aaron Rodgers or whatever. They're going to have DK running go routes, and, that line still ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing. So, plus they got Arthur Smith as a coordinator. Come on. What's appealing about that other than that defense? What's appealing about the Steelers?
Maybe he get up there with Wiz Khalifa and smoke some weed because he's been on one the last couple of years.
I'm telling you, Rich. Okay, you this all-world quarterback, like you said, he got an ego. Rich, this all-world quarterback, been dominating the league, for about 10 plus seasons with only one Super Bowl ring. You going to the Steelers because I think you need another ring to be in the conversation with Peyton. Everybody else. You need another ring. That one isn't going to cut it.
I agree with you there, Corey. But wouldn't it be something for you to have that ego to go to a team like that say you have no perennial stars and you actually take them to the playoffs when everybody, including all three of us on this panel, have already discounted them? We've already discounted them to say that they're going to have, a lackluster season. But for you to come out there with Aaron Rodgers' ego and say, look what I've done, potentially for his last season in the NFL, to get those boys to the playoffs with that roster, I think that's appealing to him.
I don't know. Regardless of what he do, man, the Steelers are in trouble. They got a lot of stuff they need to address, man. And this could possibly be Mike T's first season, subpar season. Because every time we talk to the Steelers is, well, we made the playoffs. That's their ceiling. That's their ceiling. And they bank their head on that. We've been consistently average for the past couple of years. That's they bank their hat on that. So what if they lose this year? Is Mike still going to be a Steeler? Tell it.
I think he's done either way. I think he's done either way, and I think that could be the reason. One of the appeals that could draw Rodgers to finally come out the dark and sign with them. I think they're going to go after Lazard, like Rich mentioned, because he always like to bring some of his people back. Adams is out of reach. He's in LA. He ain't coming back to mess with him no more. So it's going to be Lazard and DK, and they got running back there now. Defense is going to be okay as long as Watts is still there, but that's still up in the air too. But I think Mike T said, "Hey, hey, let's go out on our sword, man. Me and you make this hard run at it. If we make it, we make it. If we don't, then we both throw the deuces and walk away."
What you think, Rich?
Man, I just had a conversation last week at work with our favorite guest, Ivory.
Oh,
and I told him, I was like, when news broke about George Pickens, I told him two things were going to happen this year. The Steelers are going to have a losing record, and the longest tenured football coach is about to be fired, which is Mike T.
They won't fire him, bro.
I think that he's going to get fired. I think that's what's going to happen.
What you want to put on it?
What you want to put on it?
We're going to put you some new headphones on it.
Bet.
Hey, y'all know my stance. Go on fire him. He won't be on the street long.
Because you want him in Tampa Bay.
Hey, Mike T, holla at me.
Hey, because we got somebody on the hot seat too. So yeah, I don't mind coming to Georgia all day, every day. But no,
I'm trying to tell you.
I think he means too much to the legacy of that organization and the Rooney family for them to fire him. He will step down before they fire him.
The Steelers don't do business like that, man. They don't do business like that.
Well, it would be a Bill Belichick situation then. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that.
Of course.
Fire him? No, they ain't gonna fire him. No, he's the most successful black football coach in NFL history.
Essentially, it is a firing, but it's not going to go down like that. That's why I say it'll be the Bill Belichick effect.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, one because of the respect factor that they have with Mike Tomlin and the way that the Rooney family has been done business. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a sad Black Monday for some, for others, We shall see. Mike T.
See, then Mike T, he can go off into retirement and then take a year off and come back, make his comeback tour for a team, to see what he got left for 2-3 years or whatever it is and call it quits.
Yeah, man.
Like Pete Carroll.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's definitely something to pay attention to this year, as the season goes along. I'm excited to see what the Steelers do without quarterback. Because I don't think Rodgers is coming. I don't think he's coming. But speaking of being excited, who are we most excited about this season as far as, breakout players, for Atlanta, Carolina, who is it that, you're excited for this year? Telly, you can go first.
I think this is hard, man, because we got some good young talent in the draft. But I'm gonna say this because I want this kid to live up, even though he burns me up most of the damn time. That's Kyle Pitts, man. I'm excited to see is we all see it in all sports. When people be in their contract year, man, ain't no injuries. Them boys ball out. They do what they gotta do. So I'm excited to see what Kyle Pitts is gonna do this year. 5th-year option, been picked up. Either you show and get some money, or you done. Another team gonna pick him up, but he won't make the money that he could make if you show it this year.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts is a big letdown. He a major letdown to me. Like when y'all signed Kirk, everybody's like, okay, Pitts about to do his thing, whatever. And he did his thing twice that season.
Yeah,
all against Tampa.
Tight end weekend.
Yeah, he did it against Tampa. He was on fire. After that boy wasn't nowhere to be found at all. So last year was supposed to be his year to me. So yeah, okay. I asked you. So, what you think, Rich?
Yeah,
man, I'm excited for Bryce Young, man. I think this is not necessarily a make or break year for him, but with the Carolina Panthers are trying to do the right thing and surround him with weapons by drafting that young man that's behind me on my my screensaver. I'm excited for Bryce Young, man. So I want to see what he's actually going to do. I think he has the potential to be a Pro Bowler this year. So I'm excited for Bryce Young.
Hey, 2nd year, we'll see. This is sophomore slump coming because that's what's about to happen. Yeah, because this year 3. This is year 3. Year 3 for Bryce. So it's time to turn the corner. It's time to turn the corner because he went through some things last year, man. Had to sit down for a minute. That was wild to me. That was wild.
And I think that was the best thing for him. Yeah, that was the best thing for him, man, for him to sit down and actually realize, damn, man, this game is actually a lot bigger than what I actually thought. And, to get that sense of humility and actually learn some things by watching the Red Rocket get out there and, perform well. But once he got back on that, that field, man, we've all said this, he played pretty well, man. And that actually gave, us something to look forward to for this upcoming season. So I think he puts it all together, man. And we're going to have a good season this year.
Bryce Young. I think for Tampa, though, we got a 3-headed monster. So it gets interesting in our backfield because Bucky took the job from Rachaad White last year. Bucky came on, fan favorite, led rookies in rushing or whatever, was a candidate for Rookie of the Year. He was balling. So I'm interested in seeing how this next season goes because we've already stated Justin Tucker is going to get a lot more carries this year. And Tucker's our 3rd running back. That boy a beast. Won NFC Player of the Year, and then NFC Player of the Week. And then he didn't get that many touches, after that. He was just used sporadically. So with it being Rashad's contract year, like Telly said, no injuries, that boy going to be ready for everything, but he doesn't start. So some of his carries going to Tucker. So we got a nice little competition in the backfield. And, worst case scenario, let's be honest, I don't think Rachaad White going to get the money from Tampa. He's not, because Bucky, he got 2 backs behind him that are producing for less money, and we can get away with not paying them for a minute. So White basically trade capital by week 7. That's my prediction. He'll go to somebody that's really going to need a running back. It'll allow him to shine, for the rest of the season. But if he stays on the team and he goes off, that's a win-win for us. So I'm excited about the running backs.
So for a second, Corey, you confused me because you said Justin Tucker. I know Baltimore just got rid of him, and I didn't know he switched positions and he was on the team. But we're talking about Sean Tucker.
Sean.
Yeah. I was like,
Sean, my bad. Hey, I'm thinking about the Ravens kicker because that's hot news.
Yeah,
Sean Tucker.
This dude got dang on domestic.
He ain't kicking in the backfield.
He got domestic violence charges, so he automatically switched positions and want to be like Ray Rice and Kareem Hunt. So
yeah. Not Justin. Hey, Justin, we wish you well. Get your shit in order. But nah, Sean Tucker.
Facts.
Sean Tucker.
Hey,
Sean
but-
Tucker and Rashad. Go ahead, Telly. That's what I
But,
meant.
but y'all brought it up, man. How nasty is that? That Tucker's dismissal was a whole lot less interesting than Mr. Watson. They drugged Mr. Watson for a long time.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow, you just gonna jump right into the open mic then.
My
Go
bad,
ahead.
my bad. But no, we gotta go back. We gotta go back. Let's do them predictions real quick.
We already did. We did. I said
right.
12-5. You didn't do your prediction, I don't think. Yeah, you did.
I did.
We did the
Yeah.
predictions.
11-6.
11-6. All right.
Yeah, Rich with that funky ass 9-8, whatever, man.
Playing it.
Hey, I hope that's y'all record for real.
Playing it.
Division winners.
Yeah.
But that is interesting, Telly, man. And that just, and not to mean to cut you off, Corey, that is interesting, man. But that just to go show you, man, like there's a double standard out there, man. No matter what people actually say, there is. And, you know, the limelight, unfortunately, is placed a little bit higher. And, you know, people trying to crucify you when you have that melanin skin tone vice, somebody that doesn't, that's doing the same shit.
Now hold up, Rich. Is it really about that?
Absolutely.
I'm just checking. I mean, okay.
So
according to the world, there's no such thing as racism anymore.
Well, we all know that's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit.
It was an executive order that came out that said it wasn't. That's why.
Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of those coming out. But let's just think about, man, and you know, go back when Ben Roethlisberger was playing football. Ben Roethlisberger.
So that Steeler quarterback. Quarterback.
So, you know, those were some pretty serious allegations, and some of those things, you know, you can quote unquote was founded, and you still try to crucify, you know, Deshaun Watson and all these other guys that have similar cases. What happened to Big Ben? He very well may go down.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
He very well will go down as a Hall of Famer. Actually, I think he will be.
Tucker too, right? Tucker and Roethlisberger, right?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Justin Fucker and Ben Roethlisberger are both going to be at camp.
He said Justin. Hey, but I just heard this thing, man. I was listening to this little clip on, I think, on Facebook, whatever, a snippet. But they made a comment about whenever there's a person of color who does something wrong, the first thing they do is talk about, you know, all the negative stuff. Well, you know, he looked this, he hung out with this person, he from here, he came from a single parent home, all those negative things, right? But if it's the Caucasian persuasion, then there's, well, you know, he's a great kid, he's upstanding, he's always been, you know, had great grades, and, you know, they start like painting this picture. And so I was listening to that, and I thought about this Watson Tucker situation. And with Tucker is that, well, you know, he's been out teaching in Catholic churches, and he's been baptizing, and it's like, wait a minute.
Oh, come on, man.
Wait a minute. Well, Watson was everything, but he's out there. He's probably fumbling all those women. You know, he's from here. That's what they used to doing down there where he's from. And I was like, oh my God, they real that man. And
that's how y'all get down in Georgia, because Watson's from Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, nigga. Say when you get to Georgia.
He missed them lemon pepper wings, baby.
Man, we all know that's a money grab, though. We know that's what it is.
Facts.
Almost every time. But hey, these athletes get smart though. They are being more aggressive, filing lawsuits against them. They jumping out there in front of it. You know, some of them, for the most part, because they know it's extortion. They know it is, man.
Just don't do it.
So, you talking about
Yeah.
You talking about
Don't do a Shay though.
Yeah, but you know what, man? Like, as unfortunate that situation is, man, and I was just reading some stuff. I know, Corey, you sent out a bunch of information. Like, if you had asked that woman previously to sign an NDA and she did not sign it, and you still invite her over to your house, you got to kind of actually look at yourself in the mirror, man, for everything that, you know, that came after that. Because that was kind of stupid. You know, I mean, like, because obviously there was something about this woman that you already felt like certain way about it. But I guess she was damn, you know, freaking him, and he still invited her over there, and now he's in this situation. So I blame him a little bit.
Man, I'd be scared, you know, nowadays. Bro, I get a vasectomy. I freeze my sperm. I think some shorty said something like that. I would freeze it, put it in the refrigerator, you know, whatever. Now I'm safe. They can't trap me on that end. Like, oh, I'm pregnant. Congratulations. You know,
Hey.
it ain't mine. It ain't mine, you know. I would get that more snipped, but I'd be afraid to mess with them. Dog, I just have to have one, maybe one that's steady, you know, be like, hey, here's your contract. This is what we're doing, you know, whatever. Have her sign a contract, put on the payroll. You got the money, you might well put on the payroll, man.
Hey,
So,
I know what you need though, Corey.
what that?
What you need is that Jaden Daniels package. That's the best coverage you could possibly have.
Man, mamas are the best linemen in the world.
Man,
They some offensive linemen, boy.
Hey,
line.
they are haters.
See the whole line, the defensive line and the offensive line.
Hey, Kelly, that rating is 99 overall for blocking. pass protection.
What they calling it? Like she like the super player on Madden or something? Somebody done created.
Creative player, the Great Wall. Hey, man. Boy, Jay mama don't play, man. Shout out to Jay Dane's mama. I ain't mad.
Facts, man. That's good on her, man, because she's trying to protect her son and that investment, which he is, just to kind of keep him on the right track. But what do you guys think about, man, the Panthers cutting Jadeveon Clowney? I kind of saw that in the right, man, when we actually did our pre-draft show. I had it written on my notes. I honestly thought we were going to pick Tonica Hemingway from South Carolina, because Carolina Panthers, for whatever reason, like to pick Gamecocks on, you know, when they go draft. They've always done that. J.C. Horn, freaking Xavier Legette, you know, it just, for whatever reason, we like to draft them. But what do you guys personally think, man, about the Panthers actually releasing Jadeveon Clowney?
I think he gonna end up on the Falcons or the Bucks as a depth piece. That's what I think. He'd already been with I think he been with the Saints. I think he already been with the Saints, you know, so he gonna keep it in division. He coming to one of us for a little small, you know, a little bargain. That's what I think.
Yeah, I personally think he should have been out of the league about 2 years ago. So I think it's his time is up. I mean, if you get cut from Carolina defense, then what you got?
Well, when you put it like that, tell it.
Damn.
Tell it.
What can you go from there?
When you put it like that, man. When you put it like that, tell it he already at rock bottom.
Unless he goes to the team.
No, I think I still think he's an asset to some team, man. But being in Carolina was ideal for him because he's 20 minutes away from home. He was from Rock Hill, you know, Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is right across the border and stuff. But I still think that there's value to him on some actually team. But I think for us, actually cutting him and saving that $13.7 million, especially with what we draft, was kind of a smart move. And I saw that happen anyway. I wrote that on my notes when we were talking about the draft. And I thought it would go a different way. But I saw that actually coming.
I did not. Just like, you know, y'all already starting the season off with, you know, with injuries, you know, whatever. And that's crazy. But he injury prone. Buddy injury prone though. You know, so
with that, Corey, and we're talking about Jonathan Brooks, right?
Yeah.
He tore his ACL the very first game he got into last year when he got a chance to play, which he was already coming off a torn ACL, which he didn't play the previous year coming out of Texas. And he tore it again the very first game. So now he's on, the PUP list. So that was a smart pick for us when we got Telly's Georgia boy, Trevor Etienne, later on in the draft. So that was very smart, man, by us to actually do that because Jonathan Brooks, he has the talent, man, and I think that, he can't go out there and actually perform. He was playing behind another boy that on Telly's team, Bijan Robinson at Texas. But unfortunately, man, I think for that young man, he's not gonna have a long career in the NFL at all.
Nah.
So
What's that cat that's played the running back for the Jets? Like I think his first 2 seasons in the league, he's been hurt. Great running back.
You talking about Breece Hall?
Breece Hall?
Yeah, Breece Hall.
Yeah, he had the same unfortunate stuff. Like what I think he got hurt practice before preseason, before season his first season. Second season he got
he tore his ACL.
2 games in and he's out again. And yeah, the kid got talent. I mean, last year he did pretty well.
He balled out.
Yeah, he stayed healthy, so that was key. But man, it's gonna be tough for him because he's gonna be on year 4 this year. So he can't afford an injury this year. That's him because it's a lot of running backs in the league. Because we were talking about yours, Corey. It's a contract year for him. And I thought the same thing. What you got to is that he's not going to make your team. He's auditioning for other teams that might need backup. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, who needs a backup running back like out there that's going to pay him decent money? I don't know because I don't know. I thought in my head, I can't think of no way he could go.
I can't either, man. Everybody either drafted a running back or they're solid at the running back position. Pretty much every team.
Nick Chubb is still out there. He's still free.
Yeah. Chubbs is still on the market. So
that brings up a good question, man, that I have for you guys because you mentioned Nick Chubb. Which free agent that's still out, excuse the dog, but which free agent out there still on the market would you like to see your team pursue?
Your daughter.
Daughter? AJ. AJ.
Fofo.
Get this contract,
baby. Making Fofo.
She's ready. Hey, run over here. Who got the clock? Oh, damn. That's fast. Get over here. Oh, wow.
Hey, man, put on the team.
I know.
Put on the team.
What you got, Corey? What you think about that? That's a good question.
I'm thinking about it, man, because at first I thought we might bring in, I didn't think we would draft a receiver and we bring in another veteran receiver. But there's talks of Von Miller potentially joining the team. So that could go either way. Von will be a great addition to the line.
Yeah.
But
I'll take him.
It's definitely going to be some competition. He comes. I like it, man. If they can pull it off, Von Miller, I'm all for it. Like I said, offense already they stacked. We reloaded. So yeah, anything that can help the defense out, I'm all for it.
That would be a great addition to any team, man, from the standpoint of leadership and being able to mold and guide those young guys, and particularly on Atlanta defense and as well as the Carolina Panthers defense. That's money.
Nah.
That's
Atlanta drafted two. Atlanta drafted two. They good. Hell no.
Stop playing. Stop playing.
Nah. I think if he want to win, he gonna let Booby spin and he gonna come down here. He'll come down here. They talking to him. That's on the rumor wire, whatever. But we'll see, man. Defense, definitely defense. What about Carolina?
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking about the big offensive lineman from Jacksonville. Damn, it escapes my memory right now, and I'm not sure if he's been picked up. But if we can actually get him, I would love a veteran wide receiver like a Keenan Allen on that team to be able to show those boys the ropes and how to be a professional, how to do things, and to take that wide receiver core to another level, especially with McMillan being that new addition to the team. So Keenan Allen for me.
Man, it's a lot of quality out there still in free agency. I'm shocked. It's a lot. It's a lot out there. It's like Keenan Allen, Lazard, Gabe Davis still out there. Amari Cooper. Did he sign with anybody? I don't think so.
No, I don't think he will.
It's some key players out there, man. And I guess teams are like, we're gonna go with this young blood. We can always pick them up, later on or whatever. But you usually see teams jockeying right now, like soon as the draft over with, boom, the free agency signings jump in. But it's been slow. It's been real slow.
I'm pretty sure, man, those GMs, everybody got those guys, on speed dial, but they're just paying attention, the spring training and everything to kind of see what's happening with players when you're talking about injuries and stuff like that. Not spring training, but preseason and everything. But I think that's what everybody's waiting on. So they're on people's radar for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, camp starts this weekend. I know what's the day? Camp start tomorrow for Tampa. So, like you said, a lot of teams will be going in spring camp.
For sure. Yeah, I would love for us to get a D tackle, man. I don't know who's out there. I need to take a look at it, but just somebody with some experience, another veteran for the low for us, just to kind of help my man O on that line. I think O's gonna be decent. I liked him come out of Clemson. I think he's gonna be pretty good. He had a couple of injuries when he got healthy towards the end of the season. He held his own. But I would love to get a OG in there somewhere.
Man, y'all got everything y'all need, Telly. Just run with it. That's all it is. Because like I said, we'll know when the camp starts. The camp start this weekend. So, as we get through the camps or whatever, then the schedule start to get ready to come out. We'll see who started getting added to what rosters and stuff. But the schedule release supposed to be on the 14th, right? I think, and
yep. I
can't wait to see it, man, because we got some pretty decent teams on the schedule that I think are beatable. Outside of the division. So with that being said, when it does come out, Telly, what predict your first 3 games, and give me the record of that.
I think we're gonna play against. I think it was. I think our first game is gonna probably be a away game, and we're gonna draw Minnesota. I think we'll draw Minnesota the first game, Washington the second game, and at home this year, and then backed up with Buffalo. So another sketchy way to start the season. I think we can get 2 of those.
2 of them, you think so?
Mm-hmm. Yep. At first I thought we might get Miami first, but then I don't. That might be too obvious. But yeah, if we get Miami first, we could probably get 3.
What about you, Rich?
Man, looking at some of the predictions, as far as the schedule, I saw something talking about us playing Arizona. I think we should be able to go out there and beat Mighty Mouse, and then there also has some division games potentially on the schedule, which is kind of early. Which I saw Atlanta and New Orleans. I think we beating both of those teams. Michael Penix, keep your little do-rag on because we're gonna knock that shit off. And ain't nobody beating us. Ain't nobody beating us with Tyler Hall, 7-year quarterback. I don't even know why they drafted that guy in New Orleans. So I think, man, potentially for us to start the season off 3-0 on a high. I know we got San Francisco. I just don't know when, but I'm looking forward to that game, and I wish Will was on here so I can talk shit to him about it, because that's gonna be a W2.
Wow, just like that. I think so. I think we opened the season against San Francisco with the home game. Rematch from last year.
That's a
We
dub.
beat San Francisco this year, starting off. Then hopefully they don't do like we did last year. Y'all remember, like, we were back to back, like played Atlanta. Then we play one game, play Atlanta again. Like, how they stacked all our division games up front. I hope they spread them out again. If they don't, I see New Orleans being week 2. That's a W. And then it's also at home. Then we go to Miami and we beat Miami. So I think we start off 3-0. We start off hot.
So you said San
That's what I'm
Francisco.
thinking.
San Francisco, who's the second team?
So, like I said, your boy pretty confident this year. I'm if everybody stay healthy, man, I think it's not going to be close. We're not fighting, to win the division in week 18 this year. That's not happening. I don't see that happening. If we stay the way we are, yeah, it's not saying nobody else in the division ain't going to be good, but I know what we're going to do. I got a feeling.
So who you say your second team you can play?
I thought he said
Second team
Atlanta.
for us?
Yeah.
No, I said New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah, with a division game. That's why I said New Orleans.
Yeah.
I had Eagles, New Orleans, and Miami. We beating the Eagles.
We usually don't have a division game until game 4. So
Wait, I didn't say the Eagles. I didn't say the Eagles.
Oh, you didn't say
I
the
did.
Eagles.
I did.
Yeah, I think we'll play Carolina game 4.
Yeah, I said
right,
San Francisco.
Yeah, and right now, Taylor, they had it projected like game 3 or 4 right now. So, interested to see that though. And when the schedule come out, man, I gotta make a determination. Whether I'm gonna go down. Hopefully, it's in actually Charlotte. Then I'll definitely go.
It should be because we played y'all.
The last game was in Atlanta, wasn't it?
Atlanta,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So it should be in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You going to that game?
If
Me?
it's there, absolutely.
I might try to slide up that way, man. If we ain't got no home game, I might slide up that way for that one.
Yeah, and speaking of that too, man, I know we talked about it a little bit though. As far as getting together, man, and doing a show, I'm all about one. I'm going with the weather, so we all need to go to goddamn Tampa. We just need to pick a game, man. I know you already got stuff invested down that way, telling anyway, so it's easy.
I'm a Tampa full time now.
Yeah. Oh, are you?
Yeah. We here, baby.
Shit,
we here.
Man, y'all hiring?
Rich, we here now, baby. We
Y'all
here.
hiring? You can get a studio down there.
It's
But
right up.
Well, I guess that decision's made.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good game, but ain't nothing like going to the ATL, walk up in the dome, But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try to catch that Charlotte. I ain't never been, to one of them games. Heard Charlotte was like that.
It
Heard
is.
Charlotte was like that.
It is. It is.
Charlotte's like that.
It definitely is.
We gonna see. So I know one thing, I'm definitely not walking. I'm not walking to Charlotte. My name ain't Paul Pierce.
Man.
Oh, y'all slow. Y'all slow as hell.
No. I had to
y'all
come.
slow. Both of y'all.
No, man, I had to come off mute. Talking about Paul Pierce. I hope he's watching, and I hope somebody forward this video to him. Your show is trash. He's trash. I don't know how many times his mom dropped him when he was a baby, but that dude's slow as hell, man. Like the stuff that we actually do, man. We just have to put ourselves in that position, man. I just look at his content. I look at his line of questioning,
Right.
his inability to let his guests speak. I was like, this dude, he can ball. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But I do question that though, because I'm like, man, I wonder how many plays he's fucked up because I think he's incompetent as shit. But hey, man, we got something special. This is a shout out to us. We got something special, man. And if that retard can do it, man, we should be on a much higher level.
What I miss? I couldn't hear y'all. What I miss?
Me talking shit about Paul Pierce.
The biggest cap of 2025. Knowing he didn't walk to work, man. Knowing he did.
They They said that man walked 2 blocks. You say that man walked 2 blocks, then got back in the car. And then,
He said, "Man, film the joint real quick. Then let me get back in the car. Stop.
No,
Let me pull over.
I'm
Pull over. Let me get out here. Yeah."
sweating, it's hot. Like, boy. Hey,
That
but
boy
at least he even played it off. I'll give him credit for that. He tried to play it off.
He tried. It didn't work though. It
Yeah,
didn't work.
that dude's special, man.
For sure.
Not in a good way.
But that's a wrap, fellas. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. Hit us up. Until next time, we out.
Peace.